Welcome to another Walter Football video. I'm Charlie Campbell, Senior Draft Analyst. Before we get started on this week's mock, I suggest that you click into the settings here, speed it up to 1.25, 1.5. I think that makes these mocks a lot better. So, into this week's mock. Here we go. Let's get it on. New York Jets, first overall pick, Trevor Lawrence. I think that's the direction the Jets are trending from reaching out to people around the league. That's what I'm hearing. I do think that Sam Darnold has helped himself around the league, though, this year. I've talked to people at other teams that have said they've been impressed with some things he's done in flashes, the toughness he's displayed this year. Obviously, he doesn't have a lot around him, a lot to work with. So I think the Jets might be able to get quality return on him, help build around Trevor Lawrence, give Darnold a fresh start somewhere else. I think that makes the sense almost for all parties involved here. So Lawrence to the Jets, he's a dynamic quarterback, amazing quarterback prospect, great accuracy, powerful arm, athletic, quick as a runner, unflappable, really good composure, leader, just a true franchise quarterback prospect. So I think Lawrence is just too good to pass up on if you're the Jets. Second overall pick, I have the Jaguars taking Justin Fields, kind of a no-brainer. Obviously, the Jags need a future franchise quarterback, have a new regime there, build around Fields. He needs some work in terms of pocket awareness, but definitely he has an amazing skill set with athleticism, a powerful, quality arm, accurate passer, can just dice defenses up with his arm and legs. So really would make all the sense in the world for the Jaguars to grab him and build around him, make him that franchise guy. Third overall pick, I have the Bengals taking Penei Sewell, left tackle from Oregon. Obviously, they got to improve that pass protection for Joe Burrow. Sewell would do that. You can move Jonah Williams to guard, right tackle, or center. He's versatile. Now you upgraded your line at 2 spots. So I think that would really make sense for the Bengals. As long as they don't get blown away in a trade down, I think this is as no-brainer as it gets in the first round this year. Fourth overall pick, I have the Cowboys taking Gregory Rousseau, the defensive end from Miami. Give them an elite edge rusher to go across from DeMarcus Lawrence. Could bring back Aldon Smith on a 1-year basis, rotate these guys, have them staying fresh to get after the quarterback for 4 quarters. But Dallas has got to improve their defense. Rousseau would really give them a talent upgrade up front. Fifth overall pick, I have the Chargers taking Kyle Pitts, the tight end from Florida. Pitts has just been dominant this year. Much better tight end prospect than TJ Hawkinson was coming out of Iowa. Pitts is just so much more of a dynamic receiver. His speed, his route running, the big plays he can make downfield, the long touchdown catches, because you see the speed for him to run away from defenders. It's just ridiculous. This guy has been so good this year. And the Chargers, I think if Hunter Henry's re-signed, obviously they don't take Pitts, but they've been trying to come to a deal with Henry for a few years now, haven't been able to do it, franchised him this year. I'm not sure they'd be willing to franchise him 2 years in a row, so that's a fluid situation that could have big bearing on this pick, because if Henry leaves in free agency, that's a big hole. You got a lot invested in Justin Herbert. You need him to pan out. Giving him a tight end like Pitts would really help him. Obviously, Henry's played well too, so he's going to command money in free agency. So, fluid situation. This could change, but Pitts would definitely be a great pick for the Chargers if Henry leaves. Pitts will be a great pick for anybody. The guy's incredible. So, 6th overall pick, I have the Eagles taking Jamar Chase, the wide receiver from LSU. He's just like a better version of Amari Cooper, in my opinion. Big play threat, great route running hands. He's so sudden and explosive, just too good for the Eagles to pass on. If they can get him at 6, that is just superb value for Philadelphia. Put him across from Jalen Reagor. Now you make it really difficult on defenses with how they're going to deploy their safeties, who they're going to double team. You got your tight ends going down the seam as well. That would really make a big difference for the Eagles offense. So if Chase gets to them, I think that's just a home run for Philadelphia, and you can't pass on that opportunity. 7th overall, I have the Panthers taking Micah Parsons. Carolina has a lot of needs. They need a 3-technique defensive tackle. KK Short's going to be gone after this season. He's been hurt pretty much 2 straight years now, has barely played. They need a linebacker to replace Luke Kuechly, need a corner to replace James Bradbury, and they really could use a couple of corners there. And then the offensive line, the left side of the line, Russell Okung's a free agent, could use some help at guard, even center. Paradis hasn't played well, so they have a lot of different directions they could go with this pick. But between all those needs, Parsons is the best prospect available. Give them that replacement for Kuechly, get an upgrade next to Shaq Thompson, really help their run defense, help their pass coverage in the middle of the field as well. 8th overall pick, I have the Falcons taking Trey Lance. I think with a new regime there in Atlanta, with the age of Matt Ryan, they'll look to build around a young quarterback. I think salary cap issues could also be something they would consider. And Lance could back up Matt Ryan for a year or two, or I think the better thing may be trade Matt Ryan, send him to a place where he can compete to a Super Bowl as a thank you for everything he's done for that franchise, and also to avoid an uncomfortable situation in the quarterback room and the locker room with having one foot in a rebuild and the other foot in trying to win now. That situation doesn't typically work out too well. So Lance to the Falcons, I think would get that rebuilding process going in Atlanta. 9th overall pick, I have the Dolphins taking Kwity Paye, edge rusher out of Michigan. He can move inside in the sub package as well. Really versatile player. I think he'd be a really nice tandem with Emmanuel Ogbah and give the Dolphins defense even more infusion of talent. 10th overall pick, I have the Broncos taking Patrick Surtain, the second cornerback from Alabama. Corner's been an issue ever since the organization moved on from Aqib Talib. They could use that number 1 outside corner. Surtain could be that. I really like the scheme fit there with Vic Fangio as well. 11th overall pick, the Redskins, I have them taking Jalen Waddle, the wide receiver from Alabama. Obviously, they could use more receiver talent to go with Terry McLaurin. If they miss out on the quarterbacks, I think receiver, left tackle have to be top of mind. Waddle could be a Tyreek Hill type receiver in the NFL, so that would really be a nice pick for the Redskins to give that kind of home run hitter into their offense. Now, 12th overall pick, I have the Lions taking Christian Barmore, defensive tackle from Alabama. He's a dangerous interior pass rusher, really able to get after the quarterback. Needs to improve his run defense, needs to become more well-rounded. In this class, though, there are not a lot of great tackle options. But, I think given the situation that they have in Detroit, where they really need tackle help and they need an interior rusher, it might be hard to pass on someone like Barmore, who could be a plug-and-play upgrade for them and a guy with a lot of upside and potential. 13th overall pick, I have the Bears taking Elijah Vera Tucker, the left tackle from USC, also has played guard for the Trojans. And I think the Bears could use help on that offensive line. Obviously, Kyle Long retired. You could start Vera Tucker out at guard. You could then move him to tackle to replace Bobby Massey or Charles Leno in a year or two. But obviously, the Bears' offense needs a lot of help, and improving that offensive line is going to help them run the ball, and it's going to help improve the pass protection. So I don't like a lot of the options here for the Bears, but improving the offensive line could help them in both phases, which makes sense. 14th overall pick, I have the 49ers taking J.C. Horn, the cornerback from South Carolina. They could use young cornerback help. Obviously, Richard Sherman can't play forever. Give them a nice tandem, more talent at the position, and then a future number 1 when Sherman's retired. So 15th overall pick, similar situation with the Cardinals. I have them taking Caleb Farley, the corner from Virginia Tech. Really good skill set on Farley, size, speed, athleticism, has had injury issues, though. 2019 was a really good season, but he's a one-year wonder. 2018, he had some ugly tape in that year. But the Cardinals like to take these size speed athletes, these kind of freaky athletes. We've seen it with Isaiah Simmons and Hassan Reddick and Robert Kimdiche and DJ Humphries. So Farley kind of fits into that mold. High upside guy, great skill set. They could groom him behind Patrick Peterson and then eventually have a tandem with Farley and Byron Murphy. 16th overall pick, I have the Patriots taking Devontae Smith, the wide receiver from Alabama. Obviously, the Patriots could use more receiver talent, and Devontae Smith would be a great fit there in terms of plug-and-play upgrade, really give them a playmaker. The guy is just an amazing football player, just great route running, speed to stretch the defenses vertically, tremendous after the catch, great hands, just everything you could want in a receiver, except he's got a thin build, which causes him to be viewed as more of a mid to late first rounder potentially, but he's playing so well this year, I think he's going to climb, and I think the coaches get involved, they're going to see his tape and just be in awe, so it wouldn't surprise me if he climbs throughout the process, but also I think he's going to overcome the size issue in the NFL because he's just such a good football player. 17th overall, I have the Ravens taking Andre Cisco, the safety from Syracuse, complete ball hawk, just a dangerous threat on the back end of the defense, always around the ball, has had a great career at Syracuse in terms of creating turnovers and splash plays, but this season, he barely played. He had a pregame collision that caused an injury. Syracuse has been kind of evasive about the exact nature of the injury. It'll come out during the lead up to the draft, but at any rate, that could cause him to slide. So we just don't know at this point, but he'd be a great scheme fit in Baltimore and be that replacement for Earl Thomas. 18th overall pick, I have the Raiders taking Carlos Basham, the Wake Forest defensive end. Tough, sturdy player, physical at the point of attack. Can also slide inside to tackle and rush in the sub package there. So that would give them a trio with Max Crosby and Cleveland Farrell. Keep them fresh, rotate them, but you can also have all three going at the same time with Basham moving inside to tackle in the sub package. So the Raiders got to create more pass rush, and I think Basham would help with that, and he's a really good run defender. 19th overall, I have the Giants taking Terrace Marshall Jr., wide receiver from LSU. Obviously, the Giants have to upgrade their receivers this offseason. That position group has just not been adequately stocked since trading Odell Beckham, and I think Marshall would be a plug-and-play upgrade for them. Has size, quickness, good hands, playmaking ability, would be a really nice upgrade for New York. 20th overall, I have the Vikings taking Sam Cosmi, the left tackle from Texas. I think that he's a great scheme fit for Gary Kubiak. Give them a long-term left tackle. You could start him out on the inside at guard, but then in time move him to left tackle. But with his speed and athleticism, I think he's a really good scheme fit there in Minnesota. And improving their offensive line has been an issue for years. It seems like sometimes they start to play better, then it's, one step forward, two step back, two step forward, one step back. But I think, investing a first-round pick in a tackle could kind of help turn the corner there for the Vikings. 21st overall, I have the Bucks taking Aiden Hutchinson, the defensive end from Michigan. He had a leg fracture this season, which required surgery, so he didn't play much at all, but when he did play, he was awesome. That first game against Minnesota, he was tremendous. If you guys want to check out a fun tape of defensive line play, watch Hutchinson against Minnesota, but he's big, 6'6", 300, versatile. You can move him inside in the sub package, and I think given the age of Jason Pierre-Paul, with Hutchinson, you can line him up as a 5 technique. He can play base end in a 4-3, and then with Shaq Barrett not being signed long-term as well, you have some options there, and if you have all three, then you rotate them, keep them fresh. You could play all three in the sub package as well. So I think Hutchinson makes a lot of sense for Tampa Bay. 22nd overall, I've had the Dolphins taking Travis Etienne with this pick for quite a while now. But it just makes so much sense in terms of helping Tua Tagovailoa develop in the NFL, because Etienne is such a playmaker. He's so quick. He rips off yards in chunks, and he's such a good check down receiver as a guy who can be a real weapon in the third and medium situations where you do a check down to him and he can make it happen and pick up that first down. So a real nice safety blanket for the young quarterback. And obviously the Dolphins have been through a lot of running backs this year. They could use kind of a more stable and steady presence in the backfield. 23rd overall, I have the Colts taking Ridarius Williams, the cornerback from Oklahoma State. Younger brother of Greedy Williams, Ridarius has been awesome this year, has allowed very few receptions, has just been rock solid in coverage, running the route, preventing guys from getting open. Just has been really solid and impressive. He's been a 4-year starter. He enters the NFL with a lot of experience. So I think he kind of fits the Colts practice of kind of taking steady, good football players, not necessarily the flashiest guys, but guys that are just solid, dependable players, and that's really worked well for the Colts in this regime. So I think Williams would keep that going, and they could use some more cornerback talent to go with Rocky Sin. 24th overall, I have the Titans taking Rashad Weaver, the edge rusher from Pitt. Clowney is obviously out for this season, was only signed to a 1-year deal. Vic Beasley didn't work out. They could use more young edge rush talent for that defense. And I think Weaver is a guy that could rise during the process. Teams are kind of very across their big variance in grades on him and Patrick Jones, his teammate there. So, but some value him higher in this range, others don't. But it only takes one team to fall in love, and I could see the Titans really making a push for an edge rusher, because I'm sure it's got to be frustrating to them to kind of have that revolving door when that's such an important position that you need steady production from. 25th overall pick, I have the Jets taking Shaun Wade, cornerback from Ohio State. Versatile corner. He's lining up on the outside this year. Played the slot a year ago with Jeff Okudah and Damon Arnett. Has played some safety as well. And the Jets could use defensive back help. So taking Wade, I think, late in the first round would give them a versatile guy that could help upgrade one of the, they could play around with it and they'll have an upgrade at whether they want to keep him in the slot, play him on the outside, or play him on the outside and base and then move him in the slot and the nickel. Just gives them options there and ways to improve their coverage. So next pick, I have the Jaguars taking Alex Leatherwood, the left tackle from Alabama. They could use a left tackle upgrade, I think, over Cam Robinson. He is just not, I think, consistent enough where they're going to really value paying him a big long-term contract. And the way offensive linemen get paid in free agency these days, I think someone's going to probably be willing to pay more given just need around the league. So, but that being said, Alex Leatherwood is a really good pass protector. He's just athletic. He's big. It's just so hard to get around him. He's quick. He has trouble when it's time to get physical, when it's time to really knock defenders off the ball and run downhill. That's where he has issues. He's a better fit in a zone blocking scheme. But I think in Jacksonville, when you're taking a young quarterback high in this draft, you want to shore up that protection. That's most important. You could go to more of a zone rushing scheme if you wanted. With a guy like Leatherwood, he'd fit well in that. But regardless, you got to have pass protection first and foremost, especially with a young quarterback. You don't want to shell shock him to being another David Carr kind of guy. So Leatherwood to the Jaguars at 26. 27th overall, I have the Browns taking Javon Holland, the safety from Oregon. Another ball-hawking safety, playmaker, really good in coverage, dynamic safety. I think the Browns, that's been an issue for them this season. I think he would be a really nice tandem with Grant Delpit. 28th overall, I have the Bills taking Wyatt Davis, the guard from Ohio State. The Bills just have not had a consistent rushing attack this year, and this would also help improve the pass protection for Josh Allen. So I think this would be a really nice pick for Buffalo. 29th overall, I have the Packers taking Jalen Mayfield. Ricky Wagner isn't signed long-term. 2021 will be the last year of his contract. They're starting right tackle. So you could start Mayfield out on the inside at guard. He could be a swing tackle backup, and then when they move on from Ricky Wagner, now you have your long-term right tackle in place. So this pick to me kind of makes sense for the short term in terms of protecting Aaron Rodgers, and the long term for protecting Jordan Love. So offensive line, wide receiver have to be top of mind for Green Bay, I think, in this draft. 30th overall, Trey Hill, center from Georgia to the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs could use some youth on the inside of that offensive line. Obviously, Kansas City has to protect that investment they have in Pat Mahomes and all those receivers and their running backs. Trey Hill will help them run the ball, give them a big body on the inside that moves well. So I like Trey Hill to the Chiefs. 31st overall, I have the Saints taking Paris Ford, the safety from Pitt. Malcolm Jenkins is a declining player. I think Paris Ford would be an upgrade. Really fit well in that mean New Orleans defense. Paris Ford is physical. He's all over the field. Dangerous to create turnovers. Hard hitter, can do things in coverage. You can line him up in man on the slot, line him up in man on tight ends. Can play deep safety, free safety, single high. You can play him at strong safety. Really versatile player, instinctive. And I think in the passing attacks of that division, he'd be a nice weapon for the Saints defense for how to neutralize some of those different receivers and tight ends that they go up against. 32nd overall, I have the Steelers taking Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker from Notre Dame. This is kind of a best player available position for the Steelers, and their roster is really strong, so they don't have to reach at a specific need, but he was the best player available, and I think adding more talent to the inside of that defense would make sense. You'll have Devin Bush coming off a serious knee injury, so this can kind of help ease him back in. Maybe you can cut down on his workload till he's 100%. You have a talented rookie, and then they're off and running together as a really tough tandem, fast and athletic tandem in the middle of the Steelers' defense. And I mean, gosh, the Steelers' defense has just been a factory of good linebackers in the course of NFL history. So I think that tandem would definitely keep that tradition going and be a nice value pick there for the Steelers at the end of the first round. So that's this week's mock. Hope you guys enjoy it. I really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. Please like the video and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to our channel. You can follow me on Twitter at Walter Football. You can follow Walt on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at Draft Campbell, and you can follow Walt on Twitter at Walter Football. And then also, I'm going to be doing a mailbag video here before too long. So if you want to send in any questions, you guys pick the topics, I'll hit on them. You can email me at draftcampbell@gmail.com. I really appreciate all of you. I got links below here to our mocks and position rankings and a whole lot more. Thank you guys so much. You're awesome. You're great. Take care. Be safe. And I'll be back with you soon.